So as I said, today we are going to talk about how you can become a successful solution architect. Though this session would be more about the cloud solution architect because the cloud is something that is like a hot cake in the market right now. So you can see this presentation. Is
Yeah.
it visible?
Yes.
Wonderful. So the topics that we would be covering up what all architect organization would have, or let's say what is the architect organization is, and then what are the functions of solution architect, and then once you understand the solution architect, we'll talk about the cloud architect, and then how you can become a cloud architect, and what all tools and materials are available online that would help you to be a successful architect. So in mid of this session, if you have any question, please feel free to ping me on this chat window. Can you see the chat window over there?
Yeah.
Great. So now let's start. What is the architecting organization? So if we talk about organization, it starts with a dream or a big vision of business, right? So there would be a big picture of the business or vision, and there would be enterprise architect. So that they are normally the people of the C level, like the CTO or the CEO or someone who would have a big picture. So we call them enterprise architect, and their function is the business vision or the picture. And for that, they need a business strategy, right? That business strategy, we need a business architect who would design the business, who would design like how this business is going to work, what solution we are going to propose this market, and how we are, which target, like audience we are going to target with. So that we call business architect. Now at the bottom of the screen, if you see, these are the three focus that an architect would be looking at. One is a business, then focus, then technology. So as you can see, there would be a multiple other architects that would be available. That is, one is software architect, or we can call them product architect, and then there would be an infra architect, and in mid of everything, there would be a solution architect. So software architect would be more centralized on the product, because this is the business architect would need the software architect to build their business. And this software architect would be taking help from infrastructure architect. So infrastructure architect is more about the technology. Software architect is more about the product. But here comes the solution architect. What does solution architect does? He bridges the gap between software, infrastructure, and the business architect. So that means the solution architect should have a little bit idea about the business, the product they are providing, and the infrastructure that the company has and how to utilize that. So is there any question?
No questions.
Great.
No doubt.
Wonderful. Okay, so as we spoke, there would be a CEO or the CTO or the C level who would be designing the business, and then there would be a business architect who would be helping them to design the business, how to achieve that goal. So we call them business architect, and then next would be their this software architect who is mastered in the product, and they would help them to deployment and the delivery of the software, and they would be tightly focused on the product, how to build that product. They have all the master in the building the product only. But then this solution architect comes in picture, and they bridges the gap between the solution architect and the software architect and the infrastructure architect, and they bridge the gap with the business architect as well. So the business architect understand the business unit of the organization, the infrastructure understand the technology, like what technology the company have, how they can utilize it in the best way, how they can optimize it. But the solution architect is something that is made of this all, and they would be helping these all the three, the software, the infrastructure, and the business architect, to achieve a common goal, that is converting the solution into the business, right? So they would basically understand the client's requirement and then coordinate with all these three. So next, who is solution architect? So do you have an idea now what is solution architect? Is it clear?
Yeah, is it like a clubbing of all the other architects who has knowledge on the business and other technical and development, all the knowledges? I hope.
Yes. So it's kind of bridge between all the three.
Yeah,
So it's not a one who build the product. It's not expert of the infrastructure, but he is someone who can bridge, coordinate with all the three.
correct.
Okay. So who is solution architect here? So as we understand, he is the one who would be bridging the gap. What all he would be doing. So basically, there would be documentation and the technical solutions that they would develop, how they would fit into the customer requirement. Because nowadays there is a trend in the market that you do not sell the product, you sell a solution. So when I say a solution, you have to identify the problem or the pain area of the customer and provide them a solution. If you go to the market and say sir, I would be building a server on the cloud and you can utilize it from your desk, they would say, why would I should have a server on the cloud and I would be utilizing it here on my desk, where is my security thing? But if you go and tell them that sir, your business need you to various range of server, you can need to anytime ramp up or down your server requirement. When you have more customers connected, you need more infrastructure to the server. So that all flexibility I can give you on right on a click from the cloud. So then the customer would be interested to hear you. So as a solution architect, you do not talk about the product, you talk about the solution. And to give a solution, you should be able to understand the customer requirement. Yes, you would need to identify the customer area and then provide them a solution. That is why you are a solution architect. So whatever your solution you propose, that should be fitting into the customer requirement, that should the performance, scalability, security, and availability, that what you should be talking about. So I hope this gives a very good idea you about why you are called a solution architect, and what all you should be doing as a solution architect. Fair enough?
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
You can also participate, guys. You can put your question further.
Yeah, sure, Shruti. As of now, no doubt. Please continue.
Great. How solution architect does all these things? So they refer to the previous engagements, they refer to the case history, they understand the previous cases, and then there would be a published architectures would be available in on the sites, and they should understand the enterprise guidance also. So what all the company is supposed to do and what all they are not supposed to do. These are the important thing that a solution architect should be knowing. So now we understand that how the solution architect works and what are the what are the roles and responsibilities. So now let's understand what all knowledge he should be carrying with him. So uh, nowadays there is in case it for on-prem IT infrastructure. So for the on-prem IT infrastructure, if you are a solution architect for the on-prem, You should know about the application, security, database, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, networking. And then it comes to infrastructure architect or the customer managed. So you should be knowing about their environment as well. But today going forward, there's a lot about the cloud. So when you come to cloud, you should know all the relatable services that are available on cloud for this. What all application are available on cloud? What all? I mean, on prem you can build a server, but on the cloud, what is the alternate of this server? What all services you should be choosing for? What is the database? What are the networking and security is available on the cloud for this on-prem infrastructure? So these are the services that you should be knowing, and then there are software and the other platforms that you should be knowing about as a architect. So, and nowadays there are lot many cloud architects are in demand for on the vendor side, on the customer side, or on the service providers. So, but the few things that are common are today, cloud architect is someone that who should be understanding the cloud component, open source, and automation. These are the three basic things that you would see in all cloud architect like vacancies that are coming online or offline. They would be asking for. So I hope till now it's clear and you understand everything. I'm not just flowing on my flow.
Yes, good. Okay,
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Someone with her. Hi, someone with her. You joined just now.
Hi, yes, yes, I just joined. There was some problem with the meeting request.
Oh, we just completed the roles and responsibility of cloud.
It's fine, I'll just look into it later.
Okay, great. Now let's understand the core skills of cloud architect in this slide. So these are the infrastructure these all the architects that we have in our like organization. So first is the infrastructure specialist, then architect, then data center, and the cloud architect. These are all available in like these are the taxonomy you would be going through. So, as we talked about the solution architect, now we would be talking about the cloud architect. Because cloud architect, as I said, is the latest thing in the market and it is very much in demand. So, the core skills set of cloud solution architect, it range from the knowledge of hardware and the software, uh, and also they should know the equivalent cloud component of all these things, right? So, for example, a solution architect should know the server hardware type like tower server, rack mounted server, or the blade server, and their compute capacity, right? And while the cloud architect should know the different virtualized instance offered on cloud. So, for example, large or micro instance of AWS, A to D series in Azure. See, on the on-prem environment, you can actually decide which server you want. Right? It should be a rack-mounted server or the tower server. What should be the RAM? What should be the CPU? But in AWS or Azure or could be any cloud environment, there are certain like instances that you have to select from. So like from AWS, it's called large or micro. From Azure, there are series. In every series, there are certain instances that you can select for. So you should have that knowledge that which would be the equivalent server that I should be going for, or for which server role, which instance would be good for your structure. So the cloud architect must also know the network equivalent on cloud like VPC, and they should also expect to know about the storage offering on the cloud. So on every platform they call it a separate thing. Like on AWS it's Glacier or S3, on Azure it's blob storage or the table storage. So you should be knowing about that also. And then you should be able to calculate the cost, because the first thing that when we go to the customer and suggest them about the cloud architect, and they think like, okay, we have to pay every month, so are we going to end up paying more? How it the TCO would be affected? What would be the monthly charges? What if we go for the 3 years? So all this you should be knowing. So as in the starting I said, you should know about the business, the product, and the infrastructure. So the solution is yours. You are going to tell them like, okay, Azure or the cloud is the solution. So what all solution, the infrastructure you are going to provide them, and then finally it all comes to cost. So cost is one of the very important thing, and then you should be able to tell them how much it would cost. You should be, we call it BOM, so bill of material. So you should be able to prepare the bomb and then give them the like how much it would cost, and you should be able to tell them how it is going to reduce their actually total cost of owning this infrastructure, like, TOC. So, but how would you tell them like what is the cost? How so there are so many materials that are available online that we will talk about later in this slide. So till now, I'll summarize what we understood, that how you can become a solution architect. First of all, you should have the technical breadth, and you should know about the technical details about the product, and then you should be able to express and or present them, talk about, understand the customer requirement, give them a solution. But this all takes some experience and knowledge. For that, you can find a mentor. And then it's very important to get into networking events. There are time to time there would be networking events that is thrown by the vendors like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, or any other company. I'm talking about these three because these three are the masters of the market. And then you should also go for the certifications that gives a big time.
Shruti, one doubt, it says that how you become a solutions architect over there. Is it for solution architect or the cloud architect, which you're saying?
See, the cloud architect is actually the latest version of solution architect. Solution
Okay.
architect who knows about cloud, right, is the cloud architect. But basically, a cloud architect is also talking about the solution. You cannot go and you can say, okay, I have this S3 server or the A3 server on the cloud, and you should be buying it. No one would be going for that, right? So you should be talking about the solution there. You know about the cloud in and out. You can know what all security, what all server, what all configuration is available on the cloud. So that is your knowledge. But when you go to the customer, you talk to them, that is solution architect. You give them a solution.
So if you want to be certified, so there will be two different for, I mean, certification, right? For
No,
one is for,
if you want to go for the cloud architect, there would be a cloud architect certification available on with these vendors like Microsoft have their, AWS have their. So you can go for the cloud architect for that.
okay, got it. So the basic one is like a solution architect.
So
So
this all comes
this,
under the solution architect umbrella.
okay, so there it is a big branch with
Yes,
one thing.
yes, yes. So because nowadays every vendor are trying to move their customers to cloud, right? So that is why the now solution architects are upgrading themselves with cloud knowledge, and they are also talking more about cloud. So now imagine if you have a company that has 50 customer 50 client users, and they want mail service. So they might not rather go for a exchange server and set up a backup and the DR solution and mailing and messaging service. Rather, they might go for a cloud service like subscription based, right? O365 or AWS or Gmail, any they select and they can subscribe that. So what would be that? That would be cloud. So you should be knowing, you should be able to tell them which service is best, which one suits to their environment better, right? So these are all the cloud architect does.
Okay, got it.
I hope I was clear.
Yes, yes, sure.
Wonderful.
So what do you suggest us? So if we are going, if we are new to cloud and if we want to go for a certification, which is
Yes.
the first step you have to go for the to get certified?
uh, so you have to actually select which one. If you want, you are going for a, first of all you should knowing the basic cloud computing thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on that basic uh, virtualization, if you know, then you can understand the cloud computing, and then you can decide which one you want to go for. You want to go for Microsoft, or you want to go for Gmail, or you want to go for AWS. AWS is also is like good in demand. It's beating the market like anything now. So you can go you can pick any of them, and you can select the certification which one you want to go for. So on that also you can specialize yourself on infrastructure or security or networking. You can select either of them, or you can go for DevOps. DevOps is also a good scope in market now.
Okay.
So if you are interested in development, so you can go for that.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So what are the tools that would help you to be a successful cloud architect? I said there is a lot of knowledge and the calculation and the pricing. You should be knowing everything about it. So how you can refer to them. So these are the few tools that would be helping you. I have mentioned here for the Azure and the AWS basically because they are the biggest player in the market. So if you go for the cloud AWS calculator, you can try and open this. So this would be showing you, can you see my Chrome screen?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, I'll try. Okay, here you can start creating your estimate. Okay, here you can start creating estimate. So once you tell a customer, okay sir, you can move to cloud, this would be very good, this is flexible, this is scalable, this give you 99.9% of availability. So but then the customer asks, okay then tell me how much it cost, how much I should be paying. And then they say okay, I want, let's say I buy 4 server there and one network connection to my on-premise area, then how much it would cost me. Then you can create estimate here. Here is the like 21 almost locations available. So you got to pick one of them. For India, we normally select this, but maybe your customer is out of India, then you can select either of this depending on their location. And every location would change the estimate. It's not the same. For India, there would be a separate price. For Singapore, there would be separate. For US, there would be separate. So you have to be very careful about that. Which one you are selecting. So I go to you can put it here, the customer name maybe. Then you can create estimate. How much it would cost, what all that customer want. So let's say the customer want a server, yeah. So you can select here the server. This is the server. You can select it. So some services are not available in Mumbai, as you can see this. Yes. So now, what server I need into this? Here you can select what window it should be, Windows Server, or Linux, or any other, Red Hat. What would you need? Let's say you need they are doing this purchase for a web server, then you can go for a web SQL, and then you can select what CPU, what memory, what all you need, and then you how many you need. I need two, three, four. Okay, and then convertible. It should be convertible. It should be on demand. What would be the payment option, how the contract the customer is willing to go for, because for 1 year contract and 3 year contract, or for like the prepaid service, these all are different, so you should be very careful while selecting. Okay, and then what is, do you need a storage also? Obviously you need a server, then you need a storage also. There's a SQL attached to it, so you can select how much storage you need, right? So this all you can select, and then you can add to my estimate, and this would show you estimated for 12 months, right? And then you can export it to your Excel file, and that would be that you can modify, customize, and send it to your customer. And so this is like the very simple way. And in this it's not only AWS, for Azure also you get pricing calculator. The same way you can go here, you can create the estimate and then send it to the customer. So actually you would need to open this and go through all this. What you need, this is Azure, so you need virtual machine, you need a storage account, what all you need you can add it there. And then it would be, you can put the customer name, how much, for how much time they are going to use it. So in this way you can see here also, you can see there are various regions. You got to select out of this which one you want.